Okay, watch this carefully. Did you see it? It's not a trick. The shadows touched before my fingers met. And this is what I call the romantic behavior of cast shadows. And once you see it, you'll find it everywhere in Baroque painting. Here's the thing. This effect is so subtle and so invisible that we can walk past masterpieces without even noticing it. But it's there and it's magical. Look at this painting by Floris van Dijck. It's 1615. See these cast shadows from the objects? And see how they don't just sit there flatly? They bend toward each other, meeting before the objects touch. And it creates this very translucent effect of an arc. Never sharp, as always, never geometric, just soft curves, as everything in nature. Or this one here, this is Pieter Claesz doing the same thing in 1643, and Fede Galizia in 1610 for a minute. And these are not the centerpieces of the composition, you know. These are the shadows. They're always in the shadow, so to say. And you have to really look to see them. But thanks to this small, insignificant moments in a painting, that the painting begins to live and breathe and move, and the painting begins to feel real. Yeah, and I call it the romantic behavior of cast shadows, because these shadows, they are drawn to each other, like they're about to hold hands, or, well, let's say hold hands. It's like the magnetic attraction. I hope I pronounced the word magnetic right. Yeah. In other words, they're very shyly touching each other. Watch, I want to bring this closer together. You see, objects are still far away, well, relatively apart from each other, but the shadows are already touching. And you know, the Dutch masters were really obsessed with this effect. And these invisible objects that make the scene so alive. And you know, it's always easier to see it with artificial light. Caravaggio, only artificial light. And the closer the light to the object, the more drama, you know. Look at this. I'm going to show you natural light and artificial light. And you'll see the difference. You know, and that's why Baroque feels so dynamic. Even if it's still life, you can still feel the movement. There is something going on between those shadows. So let me show you how to see it in your own work. Today I was drawing an apple and a tangerine. I used one source of light, artificial light. Here is my final Photoshop. There's probably a specific term for this in physics, which I don't know. Oh, I remember how it's called. It's called Blister. Yes, it's called Shadow Blister. Oh, wow. Such an ugly name. I don't know. No, I don't like it. No, I'm going to call it romantic behavior of shadows. Blister. Yes, it's Shadow Blister. There is also Shadow Bubble, which is when shadows overlap, and it's a different story. So I'm having white paper, it's A3. I have my pencils, HB, 3B, 4B, and 6B, I think, for the darkest dark. This is what I'm drawing. This is my reference photo. First, I map the silhouettes, the outlines. I keep my lines very light at that moment. See, I'm leaving the space between these two objects. And I'm also leaving the space between shadows. Before I start shading cast shadows, I work on the objects. So, yeah, and I'm exaggerating in some parts here, you know, study reasons. When we draw shadows, the key is, in general, softness. The shadows are not just dark. They're very soft and moving. And softness in these particular shadows is the romance itself, to me at least. See the delicate curve? That's beautiful. That's the magnetic attraction we saw in Baroque paintings. We don't draw, we don't paint from what we know. What we know helps us to paint and draw, but we paint and draw from what we see, from what we observe. And even if they tell you that cast shadows cannot be so ugly with these blisters, but they are. And they're not ugly, they're beautiful. So, in my last video, I mentioned that I'll be including a glass object in this composition to draw it today, but I did not. And I did it on purpose. When I was setting up the composition, I realized something. It is not possible to draw cast shadows from glass objects on white paper, but I will show you how to go around it. But for now, let's get back to our little apple and tangerine drawing, and I'll see what I've done. Here it is, the romantic behavior of cast shadows captured on paper. These not important invisible elements, they make the painting or drawing look alive. Without it, your shadows will look okay. with it, your shadows will look magical. It will look like a Baroque painting, and this is exactly what separates good technique from real art. Yeah, so here's your challenge. Set up your still life composition, very simple, something, two round objects, apple and tangerine, or something, something natural. Start drawing it. But draw not what you know, but what you see, what you observe. Do you remember this? The shadows touch before fingers meet, and you want to capture this magnetic attraction between two shadows in your drawing too. That magnetic attraction, that romantic behavior of cast shadows. And if you want to improve your artistic skills and train your artistic eye, then watch this video here. I'm Dimitri Ross. Thank you for being with me today, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.